Hello, my name is Connie Lucio. I'm a college counselor with Fulfillment Fund.
And my name is Gloria Celaya. I am also a college counselor with the Fulfillment Fund.
We'll be covering the important deadlines from colleges and universities. Here's an overview of what we'll be discussing today: college and university deadlines, how to register for classes, housing, how to request your transcripts, and submitting your test scores online. I want to remind students, the graduating students, if you have your LAUSD email right now, can you please make sure that you transfer important information to a personal email? And you can do this by either using Gmail or Yahoo, but there's various emails that you can create. You can make them into your own, and making sure you do this as soon as possible because your email will be disabled a few days after you graduate. Now, going into college university deadlines, I want to have students understand that every college university has their own deadlines, and making sure you review those deadlines through the portal. Here's an example of LACC portal, how to review your status, your email. Yes, every college, you'll be having your own college email, depending on what college you register for in the fall. A checklist. For LACC, there's an assessment that you'll be viewed by your transcripts, making sure that you do see that it is satisfied and completed. Completing orientation and counseling online, so that you can see in the arrows on the right-hand side, you'll see on the green arrow pointing to orientation. You click on the tab, it'll direct you to a link where you can be able to complete orientation online. And it's a video where it will show you resources on campus and resources that are provided are available to all students, as well as online or on campus. You also have a tab on top and the finance menu, so you can review over the financial aid award, or if you have anything that you want clearance about what award letter you're granted, or if you have received it. To do checklist, you make sure that you complete your all to-do checklist as soon as possible. June and July is highly recommended you completing these tasks so you don't miss out on registration deadlines. Now we're covering the deadlines for UCLA. The UC system schools have different portals, so I highly suggest you reviewing the portals. For UCLA, all students are required and mandatory to attend orientation, and sign-ups have begun since May all the way through July. So making sure that you sign up as soon as possible, because during your orientation, you'll be able to register for classes, and you'll have your advising. Check your emails and portals to complete tasks such as to-do list or financial aid documents you have to submit. And through this portal and through this checklist for freshmen, you can see that it has here anything that has been is required for you to turn in as soon as possible, or if for a specific deadline in the future. Now we're covering the Cal State deadlines. This is an example of CSUN, Cal State Northridge, making sure that you complete your new student orientation, registration. Your Not Anymore video would also be on your checklist. So making sure you complete the Not Anymore. Not Anymore is also known as Title IX. So if you get confused, you see Title IX on your portal, or Not Anymore they're the same thing. And making sure you do create a counseling meeting with a counselor from the university, so you can make sure that you understand and what courses you'll be taking in the fall. And then you could also view on your portal your enrollment appointment with the time and the date. So every student has their own time and date that they could register for. If you have any registration holds, making sure that you complete those as soon as possible, because if you missed to complete those holds, you will not be able to register in the fall. The deadlines will be through June to July. For right now, I highly suggest students completing this as soon as possible by the end of June. And you can also see here that CSUN has its own email. So making sure you check your personal email and as well as CSUN's email. This is an example of a CSU Student Center. The Student Center will allow you to have access to your academics, enrollment, finance, financial aid, your holds, to-do lists, and any updates in your address or emails or cell phone. This is highly important for your personal information to be updated as soon as possible, because after you graduate from high school, the university needs to be able to contact you directly. Reviewing your tasks and deadlines, and by clicking on the holds or to-do list, and as well as enrollment, you can also check your enrollment date through the academics. Financial aid award letter, you can accept or decline through the financial aid tab. Now we're covering class registration. Class registration varies by school. And like I mentioned before, every student has their own enrollment date and time. So if you have already spoken with your counselor, making sure that you have researched classes, and as well as the section number, writing down the section number so you can have easy process of adding and selecting your class schedule for the fall. So making sure that you have written down any of the time, the dates, the location, instructor, time, start time, and end date. And here I have provided a video of how to register to classes. And sometimes it's important, the reason why I mentioned for students to write down the dates and times, so you don't have any conflict in your schedule, meaning you sign up for a class at the same day at the same time. And this is the student's responsibility to register for classes. As a Fulfillment Fund counselor and team for Fulfillment Fund University, we help you register for classes as well. And now we're moving on to housing.
So as we move on to housing, it continues to be important for us to emphasize that you really need to check your portals on a daily basis. Housing information is changing as the weeks pass and restrictions are lifted from the governor's office. So as we move to the next slide to talk about some important things about housing, it is important for you to consider whether or not you wish to be on campus in the fall. If you wish to be on campus in the fall, it is incredibly important for you to submit an application. Applications are still being taken at both UC and CSU campuses. What you should know that although you are going to fill out an application, housing is not guaranteed. The UCs have released information indicating that there will be housing on their campuses in the fall. However, it will be very limited. And first choice will go to very specific groups of students. What they have outlined as things that they will be considering are those students that have Pell Grant eligibility. They will be considering distance. If there is still housing remaining that will fall under COVID-19 regulations, at that point in time, they'll look at first-year students, and should there still be housing availability after that, they will look at continuing students. It is incredibly important that you remember housing is not guaranteed, and you must fill out an application to be considered for housing. If you don't fill out an application, then you will unfortunately not be considered for that. The CSUs are going to follow some very similar guidelines, although at this point they have not indicated whether or not they will be housing students on their campus. They are still encouraging all students that want to live on campus to fill out an application. There are no specific deadlines for those applications as of yet, but again, as things change, you may see different information on the websites. So it is important for you to continue to check their websites. Other things to consider or to remember about housing are the fact that costs will vary depending on the campus. If you do sign up to live on campus, at some places like UCLA, whether you live on campus or not, your housing fee will be charged. So it is important for you to go into this with some additional information and make sure that you're making full exploration. There will be wait lists that will be part of the housing process this year. And please remember, housing will be limited, not just in the fall, but also in the spring. Housing is not guaranteed. As we move on to transcripts, it is important for you to send your transcripts. Colleges and universities need to know how you did. It is part of the information that was required of you once you were admitted. In the next slide, you're actually going to take a look at some of the things that you need to consider when thinking about sending your high school transcripts. It is incredibly important for you to talk to your high school counselor, as the process for sending transcripts from each high school varies. Transcripts do need to be submitted to the Cal States by July 15th and to the UCs by July 1st. If you are attending a community college, then you do need to submit your transcript as soon as it becomes available. All that said, your high school process may be a little different and will likely require for you to submit information with an earlier deadline. Please check in with your college counselor to ensure that you are not missing any deadlines and that your high school is aware of where to send your transcript when they begin to send out transcripts. If you have been a duly enrolled student, please remember that you are responsible for sending your transcript with the courses that you have taken from the community college at which you were enrolled, whether it was LA Trade Tech, LA City, or West LA. It is your responsibility to go onto the website and to request your transcripts to be sent online. In the next slide, we are going to go over the process for requesting transcripts online. Now, this will be the same process for all three schools that were mentioned in the previous slide. LA Trade Tech, LACC, and West LA all send their transcripts through what's called the clearinghouse. What you're going to do is you're first going to go to the admissions and records. You are then going to look for, on the left-hand side, forms. Once you click on forms, you will see that one of the topics that pops up is transcripts and how to send them online. You will see that it says there's a little link for you to click. So once you click that link, it will bring you to our next slide, which will show you the clearinghouse information. Now, as I said, all schools, LA Trade Tech, LA City College, and West LA, do send their transcripts online through the National Clearinghouse. Once you are on this page at the National Clearinghouse, you will see a little green bubble. Click that bubble, and that will allow you to order or track and verify transcripts. Then you'll select to order transcripts, and so the page that you'll look at will look similar to this. Once you enter the name of the community college which you attended, you are going to click the green button at the bottom that says click here to order your transcript, and that will bring you to the next screen. On this screen, you will need to make sure to have a credit card handy, as you will need to pay for the transcripts to be sent. On this particular page, you are also going to be able to check the status of your transcript. So you will have a very good idea of the date that your transcript was submitted on, and whether or not your schools have received it electronically. So you would just make sure to click the order transcript in order to make sure that that is processed and sent through. Once you have actually processed your transcript, the next thing that you will see that will pop up is the information for your particular school. So once you've completed the order, it is going to send you into your particular school information. You're going to enter your name, your ID, and where it is that you want that transcript to be sent. As a reminder again, LA Trade Tech, LACC, and West LA all use the clearinghouse for their online ordering of transcripts. So let's say that you are a student who has actually taken a dual enrollment courses at more than one of those colleges. You will easily be able to order all of your transcripts at one time by simply returning back and identifying a different school and going through the same process.
For those of you that took AP tests, please make sure that you are forwarding your AP scores to the colleges and universities you will be attending before June 30th. Now, all colleges and universities this year will be honoring the AP tests with scores of 3, 4, and 5. Please make sure that you send those scores before June 30th so that you are able to receive that college credit. In order to send your scores, please go to College Board and go to your dashboard. On your dashboard, you're going to select My AP, then click Send Scores. Once you have clicked Send Scores, you will need to make a decision as to whether you are going to send your scores regular mail or rushed. Now, in most cases, if you are sending your scores no later than June 30th, you most certainly will be able to send your scores regular mail. However, if it happens that it's one of those things that have fallen off your radar and it is now July 1st or July 5th, I would strongly recommend that you consider sending those scores rushed. In particular, if your school, such as a UC or a Cal State, will require those scores to be on campus by July 15th. Once again, please remember that if you choose to send your scores before June 30th, then you will be able to send your scores for free. If, however, you do end up sending your scores after the June 30th date, please make sure that you have a credit card handy so that you're able to pay the $15 per report fee for your AP scores to be sent to your respective colleges and universities. Lastly, we did want to provide you with some resources for you to be able to read more in depth the information that we have provided you. In the next two slides, you will find the websites for the information on registration, orientation, as well as a transcript information and how to send it. Please ensure that you take the time to do your research and that you know the specific deadlines for your schools. Deadlines are incredibly important in ensuring that you not only receive appropriate credit for courses taken at a community college or for scores of 3, 4, and 5 on APs, but also as you consider housing and registering for your classes.
On the next slide, we will show you a list of resources for you to take a look at and go back and check some of the information that we've provided for you today. We certainly want you to be able to read in greater detail some of the information that we have briefly covered during this presentation. We hope that you found this information to be very useful